Hello everybody, I am Fuzzyface and welcome back to another edition of this Williams career on Motorsport Manager. It is the resurrection of Williams. We're trying to build up this Williams team to be as dominant as they were in the 80s and 90s. Try bring them back at least to midfield at first and then have a crack at the title. But anyway, it is time for the Milan Grand Prix today, the Italian Grand Prix, which means it is time for upgrades to go into the car. If you've not seen the previous videos, or maybe you've even forgotten, I have set myself a limited schedule for introducing upgrades. It started at the Tondela Grand Prix, the round 4, and then at Canada round 6 we could introduce engine upgrades, and at every 4 races from then it is Milan. The next one would be Phoenix, although we've sort of switched focus, and everything we're doing now, designing new parts, so just the riskier parts that are going to go into next year's cars. So the stuff we're building now isn't really going to be seen to be introduced in this year's car unless we get ahead in the schedule and have a risky part that we can put in the car, and if it does get banned, it wouldn't be one that was carrying over to next season. Which means we have put the new engines in the car. As you can see, the top speed now is ranked 4th overall, which is the best we've been this season. So hopefully that's going to make a difference. Meanwhile, gearbox is 9th still. 9th for that, front wing 9th, and then the only ones where we're 10th for the suspension and rear wing. There's not much we can do for the suspension this season in terms of upgrading it, so sort of foregoing suspension this season. Maybe that can be something we concentrate on next season, but there's not much we can do regards to the suspension. Any parts that we can build don't add any performance at all, and so there's no point really starting to build those. We're going to concentrate on all the areas where we can make some really big gains and go forth from there. So that is pretty much it's a 977. We've still got a little bit of work that we can do on the parts we put in the car, so we're just working on the performance overall, and so there's still some performance to be gained over the next few races. But as regards to drivers, I've been contemplating what to do with the drivers. It's going to be a sort of hard decision. As you can see at the moment, the income per race is 600,000. It says 1 million here, although we could get that 1 million if we put Stroll in for practice and had Sorokin do the race, which is what we're going to do from now on. We can do 1 million per race. But if we wanted to swap out Sorokin and bring in another driver, we are foregoing nearly £1 million. Kubica would want a raise after this season. His contract's up, wages aren't very important to me, so he'd possibly want about £350,000 if he was to stay in the team, which is about a £300,000 raise. And then if Sorokin went, losing the £1 million there would negate any sort of income we had. So we're £300,000 down there, and bringing in a new driver might cost £700,000. So we would be $1 million down per race or so next season. So as much as it pains me to say it, the way I'm leaning at the moment is that Kubica's going to have to make way. He's not got much upside. He's getting pretty old here, so yeah, Kubica might be the one going and keeping Sorokin in so Stroll can do practice, Sorokin can do the race. That way we're still getting enough money in from the pay driver situation. Sorokin has a little bit of upside. He's only 3 stars, so there's not much we can do there. Whereas the driver we would be bringing in for Kubica, if we just switch the ability here, would be Esteban Ocon. Is interested in joining our team. He's 215. Wages are important to me, so we would have to pay him full whack, 645,000. That's not too bad. So there, if we bring Ocon in and keep Sorokin in the other seat, Stroll doing practice, we shouldn't be at a deficit. We possibly would be breaking even per race next season. He is marketable as well, although not as marketable as Robert Kubica. Although I think we would still retain a 5-star level with an 85% driver. Yeah, in there we should still retain the 5-star sponsorship level, which means we can upgrade the sponsors that are due next season. All of them are rated below 5 stars. Martini will possibly be going next season as a sponsor. Hopefully the upfront payment there is £10 million. Hopefully that's going to be more than £10 million next season. The only downside to getting rid of Kubica is he has this really good feedback rating of 18. Anyone else that we would be looking to bring in would be around the 10, maybe up to a 12. Ocon's 11. He's sort of invaluable for the feedback, although we have such long practice sessions that I'm guessing we would be able to get there or thereabouts to all the knowledge we need over the course of practice to do for and have enough there for qualifying and the race for as regards to all the bonuses. But anyway, we'll have to leave that. We're only on race 10. We've just about passed the halfway. This is not a set halfway of the season really. It's just 17 races. We are at Milan, so we've got the new upgrades going into the car. I'm looking forward to seeing if they do add any performance. This engine makes this powerful. Of course, it's Milan. Top speed is crucial here, so we might be able to be up in the points once again, as we can see from the standings. Where is Kubica there? He should be 9th. He got 1 point in the last race. Sirotkin in 14th in the drivers' standings has only scored points on the British Grand Prix. So hopefully both guys have got upgrades to their cars. The tyres are going to be going in as we usually do, 8-4-3. And then we have enough for whatever strategy we want to come up using, the medium or hard during the race. This is possibly the one that I favour the most. It's always going to be 8-4-3. Not that that's really that interesting. Both guys are still happy against each other and not happy with the car overall. Got some heavy rain in qualifying, so maybe we can make that work around us. Although, if you've heard me explain before, I have extended the qualifying session. It is just one session. We don't do the 3 qualifying stages. It's just one qualifying session of 30 minutes, and that usually does get the AI around the heavy rain problem, or even just a rain problem that is thrown up by this game if you have shorter qualifying sessions, because the AI can't work around the rain, whereas as a human you can sort of get around onto the track when it's at its driest and have a massive advantage. So it might not be a big advantage in qualifying, but that's enough of me talking. Let's get towards the race. Practice qualifying going to be done off camera as usual. We'll be back in a second to go through the grid order. So qualifying is over here in Italy. Here is the grid for the Italian Grand Prix. As you can see, everyone is starting the race on the intermediate tyres. The rain isn't there at the start, but it's going to be there just before or just after lap 1. So everyone's starting on the intermediate tyres. As you can see, the front row of the grid back to normal. Lewis Hamilton, Sebastian Vettel back on the front row, 1st and 2nd. Daniel Ricciardo is 3rd in the Red Bull. Kimi Raikkonen 4th in the Ferrari. Max Verstappen in 5th and Valtteri Bottas in 6th. Fernando Alonso in 7th and Nico Hulkenberg once again, the Renault qualifying high up in 8th and 9th with Carlos Sainz there on the 5th row of the grid. Stoffel Van Dorn in the McLaren. And then we see Robert Kubica in 11th. Now, I don't know whether our increased performance is due to the engine upgrade that we brought in, or whether it is a little bit to do with the weather, although the quickest times that everyone set were right at the end of qualifying. I think we were maybe in the last 5 cars going around the track, so whether we had a little bit of a drier track than the other cars, I don't know. I could have taken advantage of the AI in qualifying, because there was, in the middle of qualifying, a 7-minute session where the track was totally dry, where none of the AI cars came out at all to do a qualifying session. It's something that needs to be worked on in this game. The AI just didn't come out, or I didn't come out. I could have come out and been higher up the order. I didn't. I just came out for 2. I think I just did 2 stints in, yeah, no, did I? No, I did 3 stints, I think, under the rain. Or was it 2? I can't even remember how many I did, but I think I just did. I just followed the AI out of the garage anyway, just so there wasn't really too big of an advantage that you could gain over going out at different times as the AI. But anyway, back to the grid. Esteban Ocon, possibly our main target next season, in 12th place. Roman Grosjean in 13th. Sergei Sirotkin all the way up into 14th, possibly his best qualifying this season. Brendan Hartley in 15th. Marcus Ericsson usually on the last row of the grid there in 16th in the Sauber. Kevin Magnussen all the way at the back of the grid in the Haas in 17th. He has been on the front row this season after qualifying. I think it was in the South African Grand Prix. Sergio Perez way off form, all the way down in 18th. Charles Leclerc, who has a dodgy neck. Everyone seems to get dodgy neck on the back of the grid. And Pierre Gasly all the way down in 20th in the Toro Rosso. Whether these are all the way down here because of the rain, not usual people that we see all the way at the back of the grid. But as we can see, the rain is going to be here for the majority of the race. It looks like it could stop at some point towards the end of the race once it starts calming down, maybe. No, it looks like it's going to be rain all the way to the end of that race. Oh, who's that going wide? Is that Vettel or is it Raikkonen? No, it's Raikkonen going wide on the first corner. All the way down to 19th. Knocks Kubica up to 10th, but then he gets past Carlos Sainz. He's battling. Sainz has the inside line, makes that move back. So Kubica sticks to 11th, 10th place, but Mock goes down to 11th as Van Dorn gets past him. It looks like Roman Grosjean's got the run in him as well into that corner. And he does. Kubica back down to 12th. Sirotkin, meanwhile, 15th place. He's lost 2 places, gained 1 through Raikkonen, dropping back. Yeah, so we really want to watch and look after this tyre. It can do 15 laps or so. We want to see, and it does, yeah, because the rain's going to stay heavy. So we are going to be getting onto the wets after we go through this intermediate. So we do want to make this tyre last at least until lap 14, and then we can get in for the wets and not lose too much time by being on the wrong tyre. That is going to be the aim for today, although it's going to be really hard keeping some heat in these tyres, so maybe we should let them underheat and then try and gain these positions when this rain gets really heavy. As there we can see around lap 14 we've got a full-on thunderstorm. The rain stops and then we've got heavy rain from that point on, looking like it's going to be to the end of the race. So if we can get in lap 15 onto the wets, how much can a wet tyre do yet? So it's just a one-stop intermediates and then onto the wets. Looks like the strategy today, just make these inters go to the right point in the race, is all we can hope to do. Hopefully pick up some places. Raikkonen should be coming back through this field at any point now. Although Kubica's on form, 8.6. He's not usually... I'm not recalling seeing him with high form. I think he got up to a 10, but his form's usually around the 5 or 6. Not that I usually pay that much attention, but both drivers on form here. Running quite well, 11th and 14th. Hopefully, with our strategy, we can pick up some places, although Kubica going down the inside of Van Dorn. That is, and Van Dorn immediately goes back. No, he doesn't, through the chicane, and Kubica makes that stick. That's Roman Grosjean coming back now. Grosjean got the run. He's got a lot of speed in that Ferrari-powered Haas, it seems. Sirotkin 14th. He's got a little gap in front and behind. About a second behind, half a second in front. We don't really want to keep pushing on these tyres though either, because we don't want these tyres to wear down too quickly. So we're going to have to risk letting them get cold. Carlos Sainz, meanwhile, has got back past... Oh, was he still? No, he wasn't. He was always in front, wasn't it? It was Van Dorn that was the one that we managed to get past last time around. So, approaching lap 5. We are lapping at a 1:17.4. Pace not too far off, a lot quicker than the ones below us as well. As we start to dial back now, we're doing a 1:18 that lap. Although it looks like the AI is starting to do the same and sort of have the same idea as us. And is that Grosjean going up the inside of Kubica? It looks like he is. Grosjean breaks late into that corner, managed to get past Kubica. We now are struggling as Van Dorn, it looks like, is going to get on the back of Kubica. Sirotkin doing well to hang on to this pack, doing a little bit better than usual, managing to hang on here. We usually see him drop down the order, but he's hanging on here in 14th to the back of this little pack that Kubica's sort of leading at the moment. I think the car in front, Grosjean's starting to get away a little bit. Whether this little pack in front is going to start pulling away from this little pack of 4 cars, I don't know. Is everyone else just... Yeah, everyone else is just on medium on the tyres. We're going to keep pushing the fuel for a little bit. Maybe hold a little back. We usually burn through quite a lot of it and then to about the halfway point and then recover. We might try and make some... try and hold some back. Maybe for around pit stop time this time. See if that works out for us. If we switch back to medium for our 2 cars, what were we doing last lap? A 1:18.1. Of course, rain is going to start going away a little bit here, so we'll start seeing the lap times increasing. Although everyone's lap times will be increasing. Where our tyres are at a 54, Roman Grosjean a 54. So everyone's tyres are going to last to about the same time. No one's starting to really burn through these tyres. With the inters, I think the work is, the same as the middle compound tyre. You can get them down to 10%, whereas the wet tyres work the same as the harder compound tyre, and you can get them all the way down to 0% before they start to lose performance. The intermediates you might even be able to get down to 0% as well. I'm not too sure, but Kubica holding on to this 11th place. We've now lost about a second to Roman Grosjean in front. I'm guessing they're still pushing their fuel, so we might be able to come back at them towards around when we start pushing the fuel again, or should we get going with Kubica again? It's not going to take long to recover the fuel, so we'll get going on the fuel again. We see Grosjean is switching between high and neutral, or high and medium even. And we're going to start coming back now, 1.3. Now we're losing a lot of time to this Haas in front now. We're starting to move on down the road. That Ferrari powered Haas a lot quicker than our car. And we're starting to lose almost 2 seconds now. Sorokin has started to lose a pack. He's sort of in a little bit of a land of his own. He's between two packs of cars. He's in front of the back runners by quite a bit, but he's losing this pack that's currently led by Robert Kubica. Although Robert Kubica is about to set his quickest lap, although everyone is, aren't they? Because the rain is stopping. We're at a lap 11 now, so we're just waiting for this point where we can get in for the wet tyres. We've pretty much got the air crew back in the pit crew again, so we should be looking at about a 1 3/4 second pit stop. A lot of the other teams might be at about 2.5 seconds, so we might be able to make that work if we get into overtake mode and try and get on the back of Roman Grosjean now. So when he comes into pits, we see Hulkenberg is coming really early for the Renault. As we've seen before with the Renault, really aggressive on their pit stops, always seemingly go for 2 stops when races should be really a 1 stop, or even a 3 stop when the races should be a 2. We've got a lot of cars coming in really early here. Are our tyres degrading that much? Have I misjudged it? Right, we might even have to get Sorokin in, because is they're about to dip below the... Got some staying out, although it looks like they've done a better job at holding on to their tyres. Still at a 31% for Ricciardo. I don't know how they've managed to do that. Maybe they've got that much speed that they could handle that. So Sorokin looks like we're going to have to get him in early. Should we risk another lap in overtake mode? Just because a lot of these cars are going to be coming in for the wets, and this track doesn't suit the wet tyre. The track is dry, although it's going to get wet really quickly. So let's see what it's going to be like at the end of this lap. Are we losing much time? No, Kubica is actually going a little bit quicker, so we're going to pick up time over all these cars that are behind us. It's about 23 seconds at the moment. What is it going to be? Are we still picking up time? We are still picking up time. 24. Although this lap it's going to be really wet after this lap, so this is the point where we can get into the pits now. We should be able to see these tyres through until the end of the race. We'll go balanced. We're going to get Sorokin pitting as well. Is he far enough ahead that he's going to move up the order? 25. It looks like he could be coming out ahead of the order as well. We didn't really double stack either, and Sorokin comes back out of the pits in 8th place. Slowing all these cars down as well, which is good for Kubica as he's a long way down the road now. He sort of held up. Sorokin came out of the pits, and as a good teammate, held up everyone else for his teammate. And we're going to have to start recovering this fuel as well. 12 laps to go, and we should be able to recover that in time. It was the right move to go into that overtake mode. Managed to get us out in front of everyone else. We'll stick with overtake mode for a little bit with Sorokin, just so he holds up and stays in front of these few cars in the order. Oh, and there we get a massive thunderstorm as we start to see the rest of the order come into the pits. Perez is in the pits at the moment. Have we got past Perez as well? We have. Is Sorokin going to get past Perez? He does, so we're up into 6th and 7th here. Making it stick and keeping out on the intermediates for that extra lap has really worked out for us here. Sorokin, meanwhile, what's he doing? He's doing the 129.5, almost. Ocon, 120s? What was that? How did they get a 120? Is that because they went through the pits? No, what happened? 120? I'm not sure how some of I'm guessing this is just because our first out lap, is it? Are we still in the 120s? We'll have to see after this lap what we're sort of lapping at. Must be that, yeah, 120, a 119.9 for Sorokin. He's got Verstappen behind him as well. Verstappen, don't know if he had a problem and had to fix something in the pits, but we're going to start recovering with this fuel. I think we've got a little bit of room to push on these tyres as well with both these cars. Kubica, meanwhile, 4 seconds to Sorokin. I don't think Sorokin's going to be able to hold off Verstappen here, or even Ocon, Magnussen. These cars behind us, a Honda engine, a Mercedes engine and a Ferrari engine, all behind us waiting to get past this Mercedes engine in front, but obviously the rest of the car isn't up to scratch. This Paddy Lowe car really struggling this season. And is Verstappen going to make the move on the straight? He does. Look at that power down the straight. Manages to get past Sorokin. Sorokin moves down to 8th place. I don't think we're going to be able to hold off either of these cars either. Even pushing, although Sorokin hangs on there. Doesn't look like we're going to be able to hold on to this 8th place for much longer in there. Grosjean tries to go down the outside. Makes it stick. He does. And that is going to be Ocon diving up the inside. Although Sorokin moves through that chicane pretty well. Manages to hold on to 9th place. Kubica, meanwhile, 4 seconds off is Verstappen. Verstappen's possibly going to catch him before the race, but Kubica looks like he's in for a decent points haul in this race. Sorokin, meanwhile, still holding off Ocon here. Ocon, main choice for our #1 seat for the driver, as we've come to sort of decide. Although it would be with a heavy heart in dropping Kubica, since he's doing so well this season. Although Ocon does have a bigger upside. He does have the ability. He's got more ability than Kubica. I think he should be 4-star rated, or maybe 3.25-star rated. It's still going to be a difficult decision for the end of the season. I'm still sort of undecided. But anyway, back to this race. Kubica is currently 6th place, holding off Verstappen. Verstappen's still over 3 seconds. Picked up about half a second since we last checked in. Vettel leading the race, 4 seconds ahead. What is this going to be like? Mercedes still winning the constructors. Red Bull in 2nd, but Vettel, nope, wrong way. Vettel would be leading the championship after this race by quite a margin. Daniel Ricciardo dropping down the order. Where is he? 4th in the race. He's got to get past Alonso somehow. Try and keep that gap to Vettel manageable, that he can still sort of make it towards the end of the season. Although the Red Bulls are not having the same sort of performance now that the Mercedes cars have started coming back and Hamilton started performing to his ability. It's sort of let Vettel get ahead in the championship. But Kubic's still going pretty well. Verstappen's catching him pretty rapidly. So Sorokin, meanwhile, has still managed to keep Ocon behind him. There are 6 laps. We're going to go back to neutral for a little bit, just to make sure these tyres don't degrade too much. We still need to hold on to them until the end of the race. That's going to let Verstappen sort of catch up with us at the moment. I'm hoping we can keep the Haas behind Kubica as well. This rain's still pouring. It is going to get dry for the last 2 laps, so there's no point changing up the strategy and risking any sort of like intermediate tyre, because we've got both cars in the points. So there's no point in risking a strategy. Roman Grosjean has managed to come back. He's managed to get past Ocon, who was stuck behind us for quite a while, though they're battling away, which means it could be good news for Sorokin. It looks like these tyres are going to get to the end of the race, even if we put them into push mode, doesn't it? So we might as well go back to that. Hopefully that keeps Sorokin in 9th place. Although we've got cars starting to line up behind us, so Sorokin's going to do really well if he can sort of stay up in the points here. Kubica down the road. Verstappen still struggling to catch him up here. He's gone into low mode on his fuel as well, so he's really pushed to sort of get himself back up the order. I don't know what happened to him to drop him down the order as much as he did, but whatever, it's working out for us. 1.8 seconds. He might catch us before the end of the race. We might even need to go into low mode ourselves to recover this fuel. Although we should have enough time over 3 laps to sort of recover this. It might be getting closer. We'll just have to see how it is on the final lap of the race. So let's speed up a little bit here. So Sorokin, should we sort of look at it? We've got 5 cars behind him. One of them is Raikkonen, who's struggling in 14th place. Within 3 seconds of us, we've got 5 cars. You want to come in for Inters? No, it's not worth the pit stop, Robert. It's not worth it at all. Where would you even be if you came in for Inters? You would be 17th place with no chance of making those places back up. Why would you even ask to come in? Now we're 2 seconds to Verstappen, so it looks like Kubica's done enough to secure this 6th place. Sorokin, meanwhile, he's still holding on to this 9th place, so fingers crossed that he can do this. His form is a 10, so his defensive capabilities are going to be really up at the moment. He's done amazing to hold off this stream or problem with his brakes, although I think it was only at a 27%, so that's going to last till the end of the race. It looks like there's going to be no problems with his fuel. and it doesn't look like there's going to be any problems with Kubica's fuel, so we can just keep everything going in medium. Looks like Verstappen's he's pushing every now and again. He starts coming back at Kubica, but getting nowhere near. Sorokin, meanwhile, still holding him off. What's he doing? 121s. Everyone's seemingly doing around the same sort of lap times, 46. This pack of cars still all within 3 seconds of each other. If we watch them all down the road, just everyone's sort of stuck behind Sorokin as he enters the final lap. Fuel is not a problem. We might even be able to get into high mode as well for Sorokin. No point risking anything with Kubica. Verstappen is still trailing him. So if we see anyone make a move, we do have high mode available to us. We even have attack mode available to us with half a lap left. So if we can get going now, this is going to secure Sorokin into 9th place. We'll let Kubica push across the line, see if he can pick up any distance over Verstappen. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to. And there we see Kubica cross the line in 6th place. A wonderful result for him. And Sorokin as well gets across the line in 9th place. An absolutely amazing drive for him, managing to hold off that stream of 5 quicker cars from getting past him. So somehow managing to defend really well, which sort of makes my mind up of keeping him in the car next season as a pair driver. That's 2 points finishing. 2 points finishing now for Sorokin in this absolutely terrible car that we've got. It's a lot better than we were expecting it to be doing early on in the season. We might even have some scrutineering problems from some other cars around us. Fingers crossed. No, we don't. Just Roman Grosjean has been demoted 4 places out of the points, it looks like, as well. Anyway, let's move on to the driver standings. We see Sebastian Vettel, 186 points, 14 ahead of Daniel Ricciardo. Lewis Hamilton still trailing, although his form has picked up. It's going to be interesting going into the last few races, whether Hamilton can pick up Eddie more and start winning some races. Alonso doing really well in the McLaren. Where is his teammate at the moment? Where's the other McLaren? All the way down there, 16 points only for Stoffel Van Dorn, which is surprising since Van Dorn's himself is a 4-star rated driver, although Alonso is rated as the best driver in the game. Maybe McLaren are focusing all their resources on him. Bottas behind the McLaren of Alonso. Verstappen 6th. Kimi Räikkönen 7th. 8th is Ocon, ahead of Robert Kubica, our driver, doing really well in 9th place. Perez is there for the Force Indias. If you move down, we got Magnussen, Marcus Ericsson, Carlos Sainz, Brendan Hartley. And as you see, the Renault's still really struggling this season. And Charles Leclerc, the only driver who has completed every race to still not have a point on the board. Disappointing. Leclerc, if you've watched any of my series before, is possibly one of my favourite drivers. But we are back above the Haas team now. I don't know if we got that in the last race. My mind's going, I can't even think back to where we were. But anyway, I don't think we've got any chance of chasing down the Force India guys. But if we can remain above Haas, that is going to do wonders for prize money at the end of the season. Might make a difference of about 3 or 4 million in prize money, which might be going a long way next season. We don't know what the money is going to be like next season. But anyway, everyone is still happy. The drivers are on form going into the next race. We finished 5th overall. We had Stroll in practice, so there we go. We get the £1 million going back into the account, which is going to go a long way as well. Let's just see what the new pit crew are. No one any better than what we've got at the moment. Vettel top with Hamilton behind. Interview with Sky Sports. Simple question, which one of your drivers is better? I'll just say we're not answering. Oh no, don't you even dare lose marketability. That is definitely not what we needed. Although it does keep us at 5 stars. But that, if we can't make that back up, although we should do, because we do finish a lot higher than the 10th we are expected to finish, so maybe we can get this back up. Next time around, we've got Singapore coming up. Acceleration crucial. Doesn't look like a good track for us, but it's going to be rainy for qualifying again. Practice rain, race rain for the whole weekend in Singapore, it looks like. But there will be no new upgrades going into the car other than what we're working on in improving parts. So we've still got a little performance to gain in a few areas, but nothing major. So we might see our results starting to slip as the season goes on, and the AI is still developing parts for this season's car. We don't know what they're going to be doing. But anyway, that is it for this episode. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Go ahead. Maybe click that red button below. Leave a like. Hit me up on Twitter. Anything. But until next time, I'll see you down the road in Singapore for the next Grand Prix. And goodbye.